Three, two, one. Let's get straight to it.
20 years, we back. No one's not Mo McLaurin. Going forward with the passion, we scoring. FedEx field back, lit, no it is not boring. John Allen lead the troops, we storming. Burgundy and gold in my veins, I bleed that. St. Louis saw the ball, grab the pig, I need that.
You too, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Juan Gotti here, man. Tonight we're going to be doing 53-man roster predictions. You know what time it is. The Washington Commanders take on their final preseason opponent tomorrow in the Cincinnati Bengals. So you know that means 53-man roster trim is coming up shortly. So let's go ahead and do my proper intro. YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Juan Gotti here with another Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, we'll be reviewing my 53-man roster prediction, and we'll be taking a look at the final preview of the Cincinnati Bengals and Washington Commanders. So without the way, let's get straight into today's live stream. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new content like this to the channel. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Again, 6K is on the way. And then I'm doing the Terry McLaurin jersey giveaway, so y'all might want to subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. If you're a diehard Commanders fan like me, you have no reason not to be subscribed to this channel. So, with that out the way, let's get straight to it. Okay, the Washington Commanders 53-man roster. This one was a little challenging. Now, I have some players and some positions that I am a little conflicted on. Okay, I think there are some guys that could definitely change and be added. A team of some players like maybe a Alex Armour makes this roster. Maybe a Jonathan Williams makes this roster as the fourth running back. Who knows? But I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my opinion and who I think is going to potentially make this roster. Let me know if you guys can hear me down below in the chat. Is everything good to go? Please let me know. And then we can continue. I just want to make sure. Let me see here. Okay, yeah, I can see the chat. There we go. All right, y'all. What's going on? Noah, how you doing? We got that. So let's get straight to my predictions. Here we go. So first thing is first is the offense. Let's go ahead and go to it. Okay. So the offense. This is what I have here, and again, like I said, there's some things that could potentially change with this offense. I mean, you got, like I said, Alex Armour can make this roster. Kazman Allen could potentially make this roster. There's some things that could be subjected to change come tomorrow night. If one of these guys they show out. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is what I think is going to happen. But again, like I said, it could be subjected to change. Now let's take a look at it. Quarterback. We got Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett. That's obvious, okay? Clear as day, those are going to be the two quarterbacks that make this roster. Obviously, we know with the new quarterback rule, a guy like Jake Fromm could be called up on game day, so that allows us not to have to put him on the active roster and take up a roster space, so that's pretty neat and pretty good. So I'm comfortable with these quarterbacks. Obviously, we know Sam Howell is him. And he's going to be the quarterback of the future. I'm speaking that into existence. So I'm fine with that, obviously. And Jacoby Brissett, he's a fine quarterback, backup quarterback. As long as he does not have to see the field, we should be good. We should not have any problems with Jacoby Brissett there at the backup position. Then you go to the running backs, okay? This is a little bit tricky because this is where I could see Washington having four backs. I can see them having four backs, but I went with my gut, and I was like, they could potentially, they're going to keep three. But I was tempted to put Jonathan Williams on this position group, and I would not be surprised if they did put Jonathan Williams here. Maybe even Derek Gore, but I don't think Derek Gore is going to make this roster. Jonathan Williams, I think, has a higher chance out of all the backs. You know, Jared Patterson, I would love to see him make this roster. I think he deserves to make this roster, but I already know they're not going to allow him to. So, again, I think Jonathan Williams could make this roster, but I'm going to go ahead and say they keep 3. Brian Robinson, obviously we know the bell cow. Antonio Gibson should be in for a big year. Can be a bell cow at times, but also going to be more used as a wide receiver and a weapon like he was supposed to be used since we drafted him in 2020. Now that he's linking up with EB, he's going to be able to tap into that potential. And obviously Chris Rodriguez, the rookie. I love what we saw from Chris Rodriguez in the preseason. Obviously we know he had the fumble. And that is something that you know he can easily get down on as a young guy, but he bounced back and he shrugged it off and he started running high and tight with the ball and angry, and I love to see it, you know, from Chris Rodriguez, because I think he has the potential to be really good. So I think he's gonna make this roster, and I think he's gonna have opportunities during the regular season and obviously tomorrow to show what he can do, being one of these running backs to make this roster. Then you come down to the wide receivers. This is a position group that is a little bit tricky too, because a lot of people think Washington is going to keep 7. I would not be surprised if they kept 7, but I went with my gut and said 6. So obviously we know we have Terry McLaurin. Obviously we have Jahan Dotson. We have Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown. Those are obviously the locks, and we've been know that for the longest, okay? Then you got Byron Pringle and Dax Milne. Those are the 6. Now, a lot of people think Kazman Allen's going to make this roster. I think they want to give him every opportunity to make this roster. I think they truly want him to make this roster. But I just haven't seen enough from him yet to put him on the roster. So I'm going to go with 6. I think they feel comfortable enough with Dax Milne back there as their kick returner / punt returner. Obviously, I say this all the time. He's not the most fun guy to watch back there, but he's safe. He corrals in the catch, and he provides you a guy that can play a little bit of slot receiver too. And I like him as a receiver more so than anything, and I think he has the opportunity to prove that he belongs tomorrow night if he plays. You know, he is dealing with a little bit of an injury issue, so that could potentially hurt him, and that could potentially stop his growth. But I think he's going to make this roster, and I think he's going to be fine, honestly. Dax Milne, that is. And I think he probably is going to be our kick returner. Now, if Kazmir goes out there and he has a really good return tomorrow, and I'm talking multiple, because he's going to have more opportunities than he did in the Baltimore game to return kicks and stuff like that. So if he goes out there and he has, let's say, like a 30-yard, 40-yard return, this could be something that puts him on this roster. But right now, I haven't seen it. I've seen enough from him, I'm not gonna lie, to put him on this roster right now, you know. So that's the wide receiver room that I have here. After that, we're gonna go tight ends. This is another tricky position, for the simple fact that I think the reason why I don't have them having 4 backs or having Alex Armour on this roster is because I think they could use a John Bates in the Alex Armour role. As we know, Logan Thomas is making this roster. I know he's been dealing with a calf strain, but he's going to make this roster, and right now he's still tight end 1. Then obviously you got John Bates and Cole Turner. Now Cole Turner to me is going to be tight end 1 by the end of this year. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely putting that down, that he's going to be tight end 1 by the end of this year. John Bates, we know, not the best pass catcher, but he's a really good run blocker, and that's what I'm saying. He could be the Alex Armour. You know, he could be that H-back, that full-back role in a sense, and he can be that Alex Armour that allows them to not have to bring a 4th back on this team if they don't want to, and they can use that elsewhere on the team. So I think right there you go with you go with John Bates, and he could be that guy. Amani Rogers was a guy that we had high hopes for this season, but obviously we know he got hurt in the off season. So just those 3 right there for the tight end group. Then you got the offensive line. Charles Leno Andrew Wiley, Trenton Scott, Cornelius Lucas, Sam Cosmi, Sadiq Charles, Chris Paul, Nick Gates, Tyler Lawson, and Ricky Stromberg as my guys to make the roster. And I think there's really like this is really like easy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like this is easy to put together because I mean, outside of those guys, there weren't really nobody that blew me away. Like none of the backup guys blew me away. Trenton Scott was probably like the only guy that was like, "Hey, Trenton looked good, man," and that's why I have him making his roster. But everybody else, you could have pretty much predicted that. Sadiq Charles, I think, put a wrap on the left guard position, starting with the big performance that he had in Baltimore. They again, similar to Casman Allen, they gave Sadiq Charles every opportunity to make this roster, and he did it. You know, and not only make this roster, but I should say start, because we knew he was gonna make this roster. But start, and he did it. He definitely did it. So shout out to him. Y'all know how I feel about Sadiq Charles. I love the talent of Sadiq Charles, and I think he could be really good. It's just he can't stay healthy, and it was times where a lot of fans were ready to move on from him because of his health issues or the lack thereof. But he's healthy now, and he had a really good performance in the Baltimore Ravens game. So I think he's gonna be really good. He's gonna hold down that left guard position. Then you got the next position. Next player, I should say, Andrew Wiley, right tackle. I would not be surprised if Andrew Wiley potentially has to battle it out with Trent Scott. Does that like I would not be surprised at that. Now I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think Andrew Wiley is fully going to be the starter, but if Trent Scott has a really good performance yet tomorrow, he could be a guy that finds his way to see some action this year. Now, I'm hoping that's not the case because that means Andrew Wiley would have either, I'm not going to say the word, but, either got that or he just was bad. But I could see because Trent Scott, he got in real early in the second game. Now, that could have been a simple fact of, we don't need to see much of one Andrew Wiley because Andrew Wiley is, Andrew Wiley, he's obviously the star, so we didn't need to see much of him. We wanted to see Trent Scott. Or it could have been like, hey, Trent, we wanted to get him out there early with the rest of the starter offensive line to see how he look. And he looked good, man, honestly. So, for sure, Andrew Wiley's the starter, but, hey, you never know what can happen. Then after Andrew Wiley, you got Cornelius Lucas. Y'all know how I feel about C. Luke, man. I think C. Luke should be our starting left tackle, and that's just me being honest here. I think he can be better than Charles Leno. Now, that's not saying much because C. Luke isn't the best, but for our circumstances right now, I think that he would be he would definitely be our better left tackle than Charles Leno. C. Luke, he's versatile. He can play right tackle, play left tackle. He's been here for the past couple of years. I love what C. Luke can provide as a depth guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going out on a limb saying I think he should be our starting guy. Our starting guy over Charles Leno. Now that's not going to happen, obviously. Now moving on to the next guy that we have, we got Sam Cosmi. Sam Cosmi, man, I think he has the opportunity to be one of the better right guards in football. All he has to do is stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, I think he can be one of the better right guards in all of football. And that's just being honest and truthful there. Because Sam Cosmi, he possesses a skill set that similar to Brandon Sheriff. He's not quite there on Brandon Sheriff's level, obviously, but we know we drafted him to be a right tackle. He wasn't a right tackle, obviously. He didn't pan out to be a right tackle, but he found his niche as a guard. You know what I'm saying? He has that nastiness, he has that quickness, he has that athleticism out there to get on the run. So I love what Sam Cosmi can bring. Obviously, he is going to be your starting right guard next to Andrew Wiley as your starting right tackle. So not too much that needs to be said about him. And then we move on to Chris Paul. Chris Paul is making this roster. He's gonna be your backup left guard behind Sadiq Charles. Him and Sadiq Charles battled it out all summer. I like some things that I saw from Chris Paul, and he's gonna be a valuable depth piece for the future. I like what I see from him. And then you got Nick Gates. Nick Gates is a guy that I did not know how to feel about when we first got him, but now I love me some Nick Gates, man. Nick Gates is that nasty center that we've been missing now. No shot at my boy Chase Roulier. Love me some Chase Roulier, but your center, he needs to be feisty, needs to be nasty, man. And I love what I'm seeing from Nick Gates, man. I said it on the offseason that I felt like they wanted Ricky Stromberg to be that starting center because Nick Gates provides so much positional flex, left guard, right guard, and center ability that they didn't want to ruin that. But he's obviously not ready, and Nick Gates is. And Nick Gates, man, again, I like what I see from him, man. Giants fans love Nick Gates, so I'm hoping that he can be stabilized in that center position potentially for the near future. And then after that, you got Tyler Lawson. I'm higher on Tyler Lawson, I should say, more than most people. Most people not really that high on Tyler Lawson, and I can't blame them for it. You know, Tyler Lawson isn't the best, but as far as like a depth guy, you know, he's fine. You know, he's a guy that's been dealing with a lot of injuries. But I remember a couple seasons ago, he came in, he dare I say, solidified the right tackle position, especially when we got down to the nitty gritty of it. Right now, we lost Chase Roulier. I think we still had Kish Ishmael on the roster. Wes Schweitzer was trying to play center. Tyler Lawson came in and he kind of stabilized that center position. So I like Tyler Lawson. Ron Rivera seems to like Tyler Lawson, and I think he's gonna be fine here. Now, y'all may be like, dang, why are they keeping 3 centers on the active roster? Again, like I said, Nick Gates is a guy that can play multiple positions, so obviously he's going to make this roster. They're trying to have, and he's the starting center, and they're trying to have Ricky Stromberg to be versatile and play some guard so he can have a reason to make this roster, because let's keep it a buck. If he could not play no type of guard, he would not have made this active roster, because I agree, 3 centers is crazy. And then after that, you got Ricky Stromberg, as I just spoke of. Ricky Stromberg is a guy that is a developmental guy, and he's just taking the course of a rookie. You know what I'm saying? He's not ready yet, but he is gonna make this roster, and if he has to come in a pinch, he's gonna have to do what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? And I think in a couple years from now, he can be our starting center. You know, at worst, he can be a starting guard or something like that, or a really high depth guy. You know what I'm saying? But he has to run the course as a rookie and sit behind Nick Gates and stuff like that. And hopefully Nick Gates and the rest of the offensive line can stay healthy so we don't have to see Ricky Stromberg. But with that being said, that's my offensive line. So quickly running through it. Sam Howell, quarterback Sam Howell, Jacoby Brissett. Halfback Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Chris Rodriguez. 6 wide receivers: Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dawson, Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown, Byron Pringle, Dax Smith. Byron Pringle, again, like I said, Byron Pringle is the guy that is coming from Kansas City with Eric Bieniemy, so he already knows how he is. Don't sleep on Byron Pringle's ability to return punts either. I hope they show him tomorrow at punt return, because that can allow them to potentially not have to, another reason to not have to bring on the cast, man. I don't know, something like that. Byron Pringle, I think he can be a really solid depth receiver more so than anything, and he's shown that. And then Dax Smith. And then 3 tight ends is Logan Thomas, John Bates, and Cole Turner. Offensive line, again, Charles Leno, Andrew Wiley, Trent Scott, Cornelius Lucas, Sam Cosmi, Sadiq Charles, Chris Paul, Nick Gates, Tyler Lawson, and Ricky Stromberg. So that's the offense. How do y'all feel about that? Leave it down below in the chat. How do y'all feel about the How do y'all feel about that in the chat? Leave it down below. What are some changes you would make if you were on your 53-man roster offense position? Now, I'm going to have to bring back up my face here in a second, but how do you guys feel about that? Leave your comments down below in the comment section if you're listening to it live, and tell me some changes you would make if you was in charge of the 53-man roster, or is my 53-man roster pretty much similar to yours? I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Now, we're going to transition to the defense. The defense is where I feel like we kind of know what it is, but there could be some surprises and some changes that we don't see. Starting with the defensive line, let me go ahead and bring my face back up here. I didn't quite get the opportunity to do the artwork for the defense. So we're going to go ahead and I wrote it down, so we're gonna go ahead and read it off the screen here. Go ahead and bring chat down. Again, if you guys are new, subscribe to the channel. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, James Smith Williams. I got Andre Jones Jr. Montez Sweat, or Chase Young, Montez Sweat, James Smith Williams, Andre Jones Jr., F.A. Obata, Casey Toohill, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Fedarian Mathis, and John Ridgeway. So I wouldn't be surprised if Casey Toohill doesn't make this roster, but I think they like Casey Toohill, and I think they want to have as much depth as possible. KJ Henry really let me down this preseason, because I had high hopes for him, man. I really did. But I could definitely see it being a case where Casey Toohill doesn't make this active roster, and they just take a flyer on KJ Henry just because. But KJ Henry, he really didn't do nothing this preseason, and that kind of pissed me off because I had high hopes for him. I really thought he was gonna be good, but again, he's taking a course. Maybe he's not ready just yet, and next year it could be where he is ready to rock and roll. And then after that, we got the linebacker position. We got Jamin Davis, Cody Barton, Khalil Hudson, and Globber Mayo. Man, I really want to take a chance on DeJounte Harris, man. I think DeJounte Harris, I would rather have him than David Mayo, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have Milo Eifler better than David Mayo, bro. I don't want no Globber Mayo no more, bro. Mayo is trash, bro. But the defense, the whole linebacker core is pretty underwhelming. Besides Khalil Cousins, I still think he has some upside. As we get to the cornerback position, you got Emmanuel Forbes, Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St. Juste, Danny Johnson, and Christian Holmes. I could see them potentially adding Tariq Castro-Fields to this cornerback room. I'm kind of giving up on Wild Goose, man. I'm not gonna lie, but maybe they still like Wild Goose and they bring him on, because me personally, I have an extra spots on my defense because I didn't have them keeping 7 wide receivers or full backs and stuff like that. So I have some extra space there, but that's what I think is going to be. I think they may bring up if Castro-Fields balls out tomorrow. I think that is where they're going to have 6 cornerbacks. And then safeties, I have Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves, and Quan Ma. And as we know, Cam Curl, the best safety on this team, one of the best safeties in football. Pay that man. Derek Forrest had it coming off a really good year. Percy Butler had a really strong preseason game, had an interception. Jeremy Reeves, all-pro Rebo, special teams guy, of course. And Quan Ma, even though I know a lot of people was getting on his case, he's going to make this roster. He's a young guy, and he's going to learn, and he's going to make this roster. And I think Quan Ma is going to be fine. And then you got specialists, Tressway, Cam Cheeseman, and Joey Sly. So that's my 53-man roster, man. What says y'all out there? I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about my 53-man roster. This is just my prediction, though. So again, don't take it too concrete, because it definitely could be a lot of changes again. So I could definitely, like I said, see some guys making a roster that I don't have up there. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But that's my 53-man roster. Let me go ahead and read some comments. Noah Washington says, yo, what's going on, Noah Washington? How you doing, bro? James B, he says, hey, Juan. What's going on, James B? Peter U says, who is De'Ami Brown and Mill? De'Ami is a guy, he's a guy that hasn't really flashed or popped just yet, but he's a guy that I think can potentially do that with the opportunities. He has the talent in the world, but Sky Turner just didn't give him the opportunities. As you see with Eric Bieniemy is giving him these opportunities, and I think he's going to be in for a big year. Mill, he's a guy that I know a lot of people don't like, but I personally like Dax Mill. I think he's solid and deserves to make this roster. Peter U says, who is Trent? He's a depth tackle that's gonna make this roster because he had a really strong preseason. Mayo isn't as bad as y'all make him out to be. He's pretty bad, bro. I don't care what nobody says. He's pretty bad. Like, a lot of y'all are stubborn on Dax Milne and saying he's bad, but David Mayo is bad, bro. He can't cover. He's always a step behind. The only thing he's good for is tackling. The person y'all really need to get on is Jamin Davis. Mayo needs to make the roster. He's gonna make this roster. Afro Samurai says I'm rocking with Alex Armour. Alex Armour. See, the thing is about Alex Armour, I had thought he was gonna make this roster beginning, but again, I just haven't seen a lot from him in the preseason. So I think they could potentially, as if they want to save themselves a roster spot, they could potentially use John Bass as the Alex Armour. You know, if they want to, instead of having him make this roster, they could use that force back on Jonathan Williams. You know, somebody of that nature. Or Jared Patterson, even though I know they're not going to bring Jared Patterson up because for every reason they don't like him. But Jonathan Williams could be the fourth back instead of an Alex Armour. You know what I'm saying? But again, if Alex Armour makes his roster, I'm not surprised because I know they like him. But I haven't seen enough from him in the preseason. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Afro Samurai. PDU says Mayo may not be great in coverage, but he is the best linebacker we have in the run game. Watch Jamin in the run game look lost all the time, and Jamin coverage is overrated. He can only keep up with the guys in front of him. Once they get on the same level or pass him, Jamin is over. My thing about Jamin Davis is I feel like they're using him wrong. I like him coming. Honestly, I know this may sound weird, but I like Jamin Davis coming off the edge, man. I really do. I think Jamin Davis going after the quarterback blitzing, coming off the edge would be better than him being a stand-up linebacker. I would try that if I was them, but you know they're probably not smart like that. So that's my take on Jamin Davis. Again, this is something that is subjected to change if tomorrow goes the way that a lot of people think. I'm hearing that the starting offensive line is going to play, which someone brought up that point in my video and was like, hey, look, the starting offensive line should play tomorrow because they need all the work they can, and I totally agree with them. I'm like, yeah, bro, I agree with that, man. I definitely feel like the starting offensive line needs all the work that it can get. And I'm okay with them. Now, obviously, they're probably not gonna play a lot, but they probably play like the first two possessions, which is totally fine. So yeah, that's what I'm hearing. It's year 3. Jamin needs to figure it out. You're a first rounder, figure it out. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but also it could be like the coaching staff has failed him because they're using him wrong, man. Because I don't know if you remember, but a couple years ago when he played the Giants in the final game of the year, Jamin Davis, he had this play coming off the edge where he let the dude up, and I'm like, that's what Jamin thrives in. Jamin thrives in going to get after the quarterback, blitzing. He needs to be doing that, and they don't do that enough. Khalil Hudson is the guy that I honestly want to see more of. I hope they give him opportunities in the regular season because I think he can be good. Afro says low-key, they could be hiding all our best running plays that involves Alex Armour since his preseason. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they could be doing that, but let's keep it a buck. Now in this generation, how many people are really looking after a fullback? Okay, it's only a handful of teams. Ravens, us now, 49ers that I could think of all the time. I hate maybe the Falcons, I think. But I don't think nobody is like would be, you know, beating the door down for Alex Armour. But I don't know. I just don't think I haven't seen enough from him. Like I said, if tomorrow he shows me something, then we could potentially make this roster. But right now, I don't have him making this roster. And the Giants play was one play where no one was blocking him. He took 2 steps forward, and the guy ran into his lap. LOL. I mean, he still made the play, though. Because if he didn't make the play, y'all would be getting on his case. So you got to give him credit for that. But again, like I said, he's a better blitzer. He's a better guy in the run game, you know, and go getting the quarterback than he is a stand-up linebacker. I don't like him as a stand-up linebacker. But that's really all I have to say for that. We'll just stay tuned. Tomorrow is the game, and I'm interested to see what we do. How we look. What are some of the guys that are fighting for their commander life? What are they going to do? What are they going to look like? You feel me? I think he is a guy. Rashad Wild, Gustavo Castro Fields are the guys that I'm looking at the most. And I'm like, hey man, can they potentially fight out to get a spot, you know, or are they going to be in a practice squad? You know, I'm looking at DeJounte Hurst. I'm looking at Milo Eifler, like, because our linebacking room is horrible, you know. So I'm looking at them guys. On the offense, I'm looking at the line. You know what I'm saying? Really, I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at Dax Milne. I'm looking at Casman Allen as those guys that need to have strong games tomorrow. You feel me? So there's a lot just to be in store for tomorrow, and I'm hoping that we get out of it safe, healthy, and we go into the regular season, you know, ready to rock and roll, because we are limping right now. But with that being said, man, I didn't want to keep you guys long. That's just my 50-man roster prediction. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. See y'all later. 6,000 on the way. Please hit that subscribe button. See y'all. Peace.
20 years, you know we back. No one's not a Mama clone.